Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning all. A great honor for the presence of our lecturer, Ms. Nur Sabtaningsih, Bachelor of Humanities, Magister of Humanities. I would like to say thank you for coming in our presentation today. It's great to see you all. Let me introduce myself and my group. I am Ravi Iksan and me from Group 5. And in this opportunity, Group 5 would like to present about circulatory system. First, I will explain you about what is the circulatory system. The circulatory system is the system that circulates blood and lymph throughout the body, consisting of the heart, blood vessels, blood, lymph, and the lymphatic vessels and gland. Well, let's start this presentation from Aniza. Please coming to Aniza, time is yours.
What is the circulatory system? The circulatory system transports blood throughout the body and delivers oxygen to all the organs and tissues that need it. And the circulatory system has three main functions. First is carries oxygen throughout the body. Second is transport carbon dioxide back to the lungs where it can be expelled as waste. And three, it delivers nutrition from food to the part of the body that need it. Next.
These are some of the major parts of the circulatory system. Heart. The heart is the organ that pumps blood throughout the body through a network of blood vessels. There are three types of blood vessels. First, arteries. Arteries carry oxygen-rich blood away from the heart and out of the rest of the body. They branch out many times, becoming smaller and smaller as they get further away from the heart. Second, capillaries. Capillaries connect with arteries at their smallest, thinnest point and join them to veins. The thin walls of the capillaries are where the transfer of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place. Third, veins. Veins carry oxygen per blood from the various parts of the body back to the heart.
Okay, then they get larger and larger as they get closer to the heart. This vast network of blood vessels in a single human body is over 60,000 miles long. That's long enough to go around the entire globe more than twice. First, there is blood. Blood is vital to the functioning of the circulatory system. Blood is composed of red blood cells, erythrocytes, white blood cells, leukocytes, and platelets, thrombocytes. These three types of blood cells are suspended in a liquid called plasma. The function of the blood is the means of transporting respiratory gases, include oxygen and carbon dioxide, air, nutrients, and hormones. Second, there is red blood cells or erythrocytes. Erythrocytes are the most abundant type of the cell in the blood. They carry oxygen from the lungs to the rest of the body and transport carbon dioxide back to the lungs. They are quite small compared to other human cells. This allows them to squeeze through the narrow capillaries. The function of erythrocytes is transport hemoglobin and circulate oxygen throughout the body. Third, there is leukocyte or white blood cells. Leukocytes are vital to the immune system. They protect the body against disease by destroying germs and other particles that don't belong in the bloodstream. The function of leukocytes to produce antibodies.
For platelets.
Platelets or thrombocytes are cell fragments that help form clots or scabs when there is an injury that damages a blood vessel like a cut or a wound. Platelets immediately began to attack to the edges of the cut and to each other. Then they release thread-like fibers that bind together to repair the blood vessel wall. Platelets function clotting factors and stop bleeding. 5. Plasma. Plasma is a yellowish liquid that holds the different types of blood cells in suspension and allow them to flow throughout the body. It makes up about 55% of the body's total blood volume, with red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets together making up the remaining 45%. Plasma function transport metabolic was 2. Maintain body fluid balance. 3. Helps the blood clotting process. 4. Maintain body temperature. 5. Helps fight infection. 6. Maintain acid and alkaline balance. The circulatory system. Number 1. The superior vena. Superior vena cava, upper leg vein, is a vein that serves blood from the head and hands. The blood carried by this blood vessel and contains a lot of carbon dioxide. Function is to bring back the flow of carbon dioxide containing blood from the entire upper body to the heart. Location at the top of the heart. Number 2, the pulmonary trunk. The pulmonary trunk, part of organ of the heart, which is a large blood vessel that carries dirty blood from the right ventricle to the pulmonary artery. Function to replace the carbon dioxide content with water vapor in the blood into oxygen. Location between aorta and aortic valve.
Okay, and the next organ is the right atrium. The right atrium locates on the right side of the heart. This section serves to receive dirty blood from the veins and pump it into the right ventricle. And the next is tricuspid valve. The tricuspid valve locates between the right atrium and the right ventricle of the heart. The valves open when the atria contract to pump blood into the ventricles, and close when the ventricles contract to prevent blood from flowing back into the atrium. Okay, and in this slide we can see the right ventricle and the left ventricle. The first is the right ventricle. The right ventricle is the part that is responsible for pumping dirty blood to the lungs so that carbon dioxide can be exchanged for oxygen through the respiratory process. The right ventricle is under the right atrium and next to the left ventricle. And then the left ventricle. The left ventricle located under the left atrium and separated by the mitral valve. The left ventricle is the thickest part of the heart and is responsible for pumping clean blood throughout the body.
The circulatory system number 7 is aorta. Aorta is the largest artery in the human body, shorts from the left ventricle of the heart and carries oxygenated blood to all parts of the body in a systemic circulation. Number 8 is the pulmonary valve or pulmonary artery. The main function of the pulmonary artery is to carry oxygen for blood and carbon dioxide contains toxin to the small blood vessel of the lungs so that exchange occurs. This is the only artery in the body that carries deoxygenated or lack of oxygen blood, while the other arteries instead It carries oxygen-rich spots. The circulatory system number 9 is the pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins that carries blood from the lungs and pours it into the left atrium of the heart. Number 10 is the aorta valve. The aorta valve, the main door of the heart between the left ventricle and the aorta, plays a role in regulating blood flow from the heart to the rest of the body.
Left atrium or atrium, located in the upper left of the heart, this second responsible for receiving clean blood from the lungs. Mitral valve is one of the heart valve that separates the left atrium and the left ventricle. In this main function, the mitral valve open and close completely when the left ventricle pumps blood throughout the body so that no blood returns the left atrium.
And finally, the conclusion is the circulatory system transfers blood throughout the body and delivers oxygen to all the organs and tissues that need it. The circulatory system has three main functions. The first one is it carries oxygen throughout the body. Second, it transports carbon dioxide back to the lungs where it can be expelled as waste. And number three, it delivers nutrition from food to the parts of the body that need it. That's all. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.